Hello, everyone, again, and welcome to another Heart to Heart Talk. I'm John Kuert, the interim pastor at First Assembly in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Good to be with you again. Thanks for stopping by my office, and I hope that we can bless you today with a word of encouragement. It's a good thing to encourage one another, and I want to encourage you today. No matter who you are, no matter how talented or how untalented you might think you are, I think all of us can use encouragement from time to time. And I'd like to encourage you by using a story, a real life story from back in the 20th century. Seems like a long time ago, but it was just 20 years ago, 2 decades. But there was a young boy named, and his nickname was Sparky. And Sparky didn't have much going for him. He failed every subject in the 8th grade. And in high school, when he was a teenager, he flunked Latin and algebra and English and physics. He did make the golf team, but promptly lost the only important match of the season and then lost the consolation match. He was kind of awkward socially, more shy than disliked. He had never asked one girl, not have one date in all of his time in high school. Never asked a girl out. One thing, however, was important to Sparky, and that was drawing. And he was proud of his artwork, even though no one else seemed to appreciate it. He used to submit cartoons to the editors of his high school yearbook, but they were turned down. Even so, Sparky aspired to be an artist. After high school, he sent samples of his artwork to the Disney studios. Again, he was turned down. Still, Sparky didn't quit. He decided to write his own autobiography in cartoons. And the character that he created ultimately became famous worldwide. It became the subject of countless books, television shows even, and other licensing opportunities. Sparky, you see, was Charles Schulz, the creator of the comic strip Peanuts, which I think most of us have heard of or read. And like his character, Charlie Brown, Schulz may not have been able to do many things, but he made the most of what he could do. Whatever talents or abilities that God has given you, make the most of it. As I was growing up, in a way, I kind of feel like Sparky a little bit. Although I never had that nickname, they called me Johnny Boy. But at any rate, I didn't seem to be very talented in a lot of things, and I was a little bit socially awkward the same way. But one day, God put his hand on my life and called me into the ministry. And I'm thankful for what he's done with me, just a little street urchin from Philadelphia. And I've been able to pastor several churches. I've been able to go overseas and lead teams and preach and teach in about over 40 different countries. And sometimes I look back and I think, me? But I gave God everything that I had, and somehow he used it. And I think of the parable that Jesus told, of the parable of the talents, where he gave the one man 5 talents, and another 2 talents, and another 1. And the 5, he doubled his, and the 2, he doubled his, and the 1, he buried his. And when the master came back, he commended the other 2 for doubling what they had, but the one that buried it, he said, "You're an unprofitable servant." And you see, God gives each and every one of us some abilities or talents. You might not think they're much, but you know what? In the hand of God, it can be a lot. I think of the little boy that came with his 5 loaves and 2 fish. And he gave everything that he had to Jesus, and Jesus fed the multitudes. And that's all the Lord expects of us, to bring what we have, what he has given us. And don't discount that. Don't think that's nothing, because that when you do that, you are discounting God's great creation. The important thing is to use whatever we have for the glory of God. I think of the scripture in 1 Corinthians, and I'd just like to read that to you, where the Apostle Paul says, "But God has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And God has chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. And the base things of the world and things which are despised God has chosen, so that no flesh would glory in his presence." And I'm so thankful that God can use each and every one of us. He can use you, he can use me, whether you're young, old, no matter what race you might be, no matter what your background is, no matter how many mistakes you have made in your life and how you may have messed up your life, God can still use you. If you just take that one gift, that one talent that you have. For Sparky, it was drawing. And there's a real Christian message in that. There's a real spiritual message in that whole story, that whole cartoon of Peanuts. And so whatever God has given us, use it for his glory. And let God take that and bless others through that. So I hope that you'll just remember that today and going forward in your life, and surrender to him. Just say, "Lord, here I am. I give it all to you," and look for opportunities. You can't just sit back and wait for opportunities to drop in your lap. You must pursue that and say, "Okay, I'm going to look for ways that I can use what God has given me," and then do it and be faithful at it, and God will bless it. Well, that's it for today. God bless you. Have a great day, and Lord willing, we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.